What's good, y'all? As most of you guys know, I am a Knicks fan, and this series between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks has been one of the most polarizing series I feel like that I've seen. I know it could be a little bit biased because my team's a part of this series, so I could just be seeing it a lot more than the average NBA fan, but there's been a lot of talking points for both teams that I'm really questioning. And it made me realize I haven't talked about this series since my original predictions of round 2 where I picked the Knicks in 5. Obviously, I was wrong there, but I wanted to just talk about a few different things with this series because it's been a really, really good one so far. I want to talk about what seems to be the most important factor in this series, and that is who has home court advantage, because in this series, the home team is undefeated. The Knicks are 3-0 at MSG, and the Pacers are 3-0 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's really been like that simple for this series so far. And you could say it's coincidence, but it's been night and day for these teams when they're on the road compared to at home. When the Pacers are at home, Miles Turner has been a completely different player. He'll knock down his threes, he'll dunk over whoever. He had a few huge dunks in Game 6, and then even throughout the other games 3 and 4 as well, he had some powerful ones there. Tyrese Halliburton seems to be a little bit more aggressive and a little more confident at home. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. Andrew Nembhard, obviously he hit that insane shot in Game 3. I was actually in the building there. I drove all the way to Indiana to watch the Game 3. Crazy game, wild way to lose. Shout out to Andrew Nembhard for that. But you could just see guys all around are playing better at home for the Pacers. Then when you look at it from the Knicks perspective as well, it's a lot of the same thing. Jalen Brunson has been atrocious on the road. I mean, the Knicks as a whole have been pretty bad this series on the road, but Jalen Brunson specifically, like, he just dropped 44 points in MSG in Game 5, and then to start off Game 6, he had 5 points in the first quarter. Missed 11 straight field goals. Like, what? You can't be that different. Same thing with guys like Isaiah Hartenstein and Josh Hart. You know, both of these guys seem to be a little bit more energized at MSG compared to Gainbridge. And I mean, I guess it makes sense, you know, as a guy that has been to both of these arenas in the playoffs this season. Both of them have insane atmospheres. When I went to Gainbridge, it kind of caught me off guard because every single person in there seemed like they were super passionate, die-hard Pacers fans. They were really rocking the building when the Pacers were doing good. Like, it was a very good fan experience. I will say that for sure. I sat around some very good Pacers fans as well. They made it fun, you know, going back and forth. But, you know, they have a great atmosphere, and it makes sense that that would kind of pick up your players. And then when you talk about MSG, I mean, they are notorious for having some of the craziest and electric crowds in all of the NBA, even all of sports. You know, it's called the world's most famous arena for a reason. Even when you look beyond this series, the Pacers are undefeated at home, and then the Knicks only lost 1 game, and that was Game 5 off that crazy Tyrese Maxey performance against the Sixers. Both of these teams have been really dominant at home, and I guess that shows a pretty good sign for the Knicks for Game 7, considering it's going to be played at MSG. But I mean, you never know. The series really could go either way right now. And this theme of players being different home and away goes a little bit more beyond just the play as well. There's been a lot of talks of, is Tyrese Halliburton a front runner? This is probably one of the stupidest arguments or discussions that I've seen in the NBA this season so far. What do you mean front runner? For you guys that don't know, I'll just run you down real quick. In Game 4, the Knicks got absolutely embarrassed by the Pacers at home, and Tyrese Halliburton, he hit a big sidestep 3 over Dante DiVincenzo, and the clip went viral. He was talking, he was like, he can't guard me, you know, talking his stuff because they were blowing out the Knicks. They tied the series in that game. Rightfully so, he should be talking his stuff. Then in Game 5, the Knicks returned the favor, blew out the Pacers, and a lot of people were saying, oh, Tyrese, why are you so quiet now? You know, you can't really talk like that, whatever. Then come around to Game 6, and he was doing the too small gesture to Miles McBride when they were up 15, and this led to people calling him a front runner and that he only talks when he's up big or has a lead or whatever it is. And again, this is probably one of the most stupid discussions that I've seen recently. Not everyone is going to be like Luka Doncic when he was down to the Suns and he was like, oh, it's easy to talk when you're up, whatever, and he was down in the series at that time. Or Jalen Brunson in this series alone, you know, he was walking off the court in Game 4 and said it's going to be a long effing series. Anthony Edwards too, when he lost Game 5 in Denver, he said, I'm gonna be back here for Game 7. You know, there are players that talk when they're down, and I feel like those are like the elite of the elite shit talkers. I was trying to watch my language, but I'll call it what it is, shit talkers. Michael Jordan had a quote in the Last Dance documentary where he loosely said, you know, it's easy to talk when you're up, when someone's talking when they're down or the score is even, that's how you really know that they're like really about that shit talking. And I agree with that. I feel like the elite chirpers and the guys that are going to be in your ear, they're going to be doing it constantly, up, down, even, whatever it is, they're going to be talking in your ear. You're never going to get Patrick Beverley to shut up no matter the score. He is one of those chirpers. But there's no issue if you're not one of those chirpers. You still should be able to talk your shit. You know, just because Tyrese Halliburton isn't an elite shit talker doesn't mean he can't do it at all. Think about if I said, you're not an elite shooter, I never want you to shoot a jump shot. You're not an elite passer, I never want to have you pass the ball. It just doesn't make sense. You can still do things without being the best of the best at it. And no one should be getting pissed at Tyrese Halliburton for talking shit because he is getting his team to almost win this series. You know, they are one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. He can talk his stuff. And that kind of brings me into my next point of people discrediting the Pacers' run because of injury luck. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying, if the Bucks were healthy, you guys would have been first round exit. If the Knicks were healthy, you would have been losing in 5. If this was happening, if this was it. The key word in all of these things is if. If all those things happen, then maybe that happens. But what's happening right now is the Pacers are winning playoff games. We can go down the line of damn near every single playoff run, every single championship run, and I can point out where a team has benefited from injury luck, whether it's them staying healthy or another team that they're facing getting hurt. For example, when the Bucks won their championship, that Nets team with KD, James Harden was hurt, Kyrie Irving was hurt. The Raptors, when they won with Kawhi, KD got hurt and Klay Thompson got hurt. I can literally go on and on and on. Last year, who made it to the finals? The Heat. They versed the Bucks in the first round with no Giannis. Julius Randle, right after he lost to the Heat, he had to get ankle surgery. He wasn't 100%. Every single team that makes a deep run in the playoffs has to have some type of injury luck. And at the end of the day, the only thing the Pacers could do is play whoever is in front of them. Whoever they are scheduled to play, that's all they can play. It's not like they could be like, the Knicks are hurt right now, no OG. Let's reschedule this game for like 2 weeks. Let's let him rest up. Then we can get back to playoff basketball. They're not gonna do that. That makes no sense. You have to play who's in front of you. That's what the Pacers are doing, and the Pacers are beating whoever's in front of them. And to you Pacers fans that are having to deal with this and are kind of letting it get to you, all this talk, don't listen. Just be happy that your team is making a deep playoff run. I'm pretty sure you guys were projected to win like 30 to 40 games this year. And like I said, you're one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't know when this could happen again. It could happen next year. It could happen in 10 years. It could happen in 5 years. Whatever it is, enjoy the moment that this team is really, really good and just be happy with it. And while we're talking about injury luck, I might as well talk about my Knicks' horrible injury luck that we're dealing with this season and this postseason. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, they just take away another player. First, it was Julius Randle. There was maybe he could come back towards the end of the season. Nope, he is out for good. OG Anunoby, he was dealing with his elbow thing. Now he's got his hamstring that's going to be keeping him out. He's already ruled out for Game 7. I mean, if we even beat the Pacers, he's probably going to miss some time in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's like, damn, like that's literally our two of our 3 best players right there out. Mitchell Robinson, he was rumored to have a season-ending injury, came back for the playoffs. Few games later, hurt again. Bojan Bogdanovic, he was finally catching some stride off the bench, giving the Knicks great production, shooting the ball and all of that, then hurt his ankle. Now Josh Hart, the heart and soul, no pun intended, of this Knicks team, is having a strained abdomen, I think they're calling it, whatever it is. He's up in the air for Game 7 now. He could miss that. We literally, our starting 5 right there, those 5 guys could probably win you 30 to 40 games in the regular season if they were a starting lineup. And those are just the players that are hurt for the Knicks right now. But like I said with the Pacers, people get lucky and unlucky all the time in the playoffs. I'm not blaming it. I'm not using it as an out or anything like that. What I brought it up for was a lot of people are blaming Tom Thibodeau for this, and I cannot tell you how far from the truth that is. This is not Tibbs' fault that all of these injuries are happening. It's just super unlucky for the Knicks. Before Julius Randle and OG Anunoby got hurt, their last game they both played was against Miami late in January. Before they got hurt, the Knicks didn't have a single player top 15 in minutes per game in the whole league. Not one. Not Jalen Brunson, not Julius Randle, no one. Literally not a single player in the top 15. After the fact, after they got hurt, and then they had the injury bug go through the whole team for a little bit there, then guys started creeping up that list and playing more and more minutes. Now in the playoffs, I just mentioned 5 rotational players that we're missing right now. Obviously, they're going to have to play higher minutes. That's where you see Josh Hart play 48 minutes for 4 straight games. People are confusing the cause and the effect in this situation right here. The Knicks are not hurt because Tibbs only runs a 7-man rotation and plays everyone heavy minutes. Tibbs is playing everyone heavy minutes and only running a 7-man rotation because the Knicks are hurt. People are confusing the order of those. I just feel like on Twitter, I've been seeing a lot of Knicks fans and Pacers fans going back and forth all series, like really just complaining about a bunch of different things, bringing up a bunch of these topics that really don't make sense to me. So I wanted to just come out here and kind of not squash it, but kind of just settle it. Let a rational Knicks fan, I would say I'm pretty rational, a rational Knicks fan give his perspective on this stuff, because a lot of it is just talk. Regardless, if you're a Pacers fan, if you're a Knicks fan, if you're a fan of another team and you just clicked on this video to see some type of perspective here, I hope that I made some sense and can maybe just settle it down a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.